Well, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. My name is Trywin. I am here with Zyxel. Welcome to Tech Talk. Glad to have all of you here today. I can see a lot of you in here in the room interested in hearing more about our new SCR product that I'm going to be covering today. Um, we like for this to be interactive, at least I do. So if you have any questions throughout this process, please feel free to use the Q&A and I'll try to answer those questions as we go through this presentation. So again, welcome. Um, Looking forward to sharing with you kind of what this new technology is, this new product, and how it may fit into maybe certain areas of your business, and how it may fit into your portfolio offering for Zyxel products for maybe small businesses or home offices, et cetera. And that's kind of the main focus of it is the SCR. So it's really the SCR just stands for a secure, cloud router, and I'll talk about more of that. But just to introduce you to Zyxel, if you haven't heard of us before, we are Zyxel Networks, over 30 years now in networking, 100 million devices making connections worldwide, 150 markets with 700 plus employees, and a million businesses work smarter with our solutions today. We're trusted to deliver solutions to millions of people from connectivity. We've partnered with some of these vendors to providing solutions to their customers. So some nice brands and names there. And we've also partnered with some industry leaders to providing their solutions, their signatures and expertise and technology into our platforms in our products today. So customers are partners like Webroot, McAfee, Bitdefender going into our security appliances. And we are a channel-based company. So we work with you as value-added resellers, system integrators, MSPs, to helping you deploy Zyxel products and networks and helping you to deliver those solutions. And we have our sales rep account managers who are here to help you either on the pre-sales process when you're building out networks, to the distribution side, getting product, and also drop shipping and also post sales. So tech support, helping you to bring in those necessary resources to help you out with your business. So we're here to serve you. We are solutions driven because partners like yourself helping us to develop product, making our products better, making our products fit your needs and your customers' needs better. So using that kind of mentality, because we make our products and we design them, we help to facilitate the solutions that you want to deliver to your customers today and also for the future. So a lot of these kind of new products that come out are based on a lot of feedbacks from customers and how the industry is moving forward. We deliver an end-to-end portfolio. So anything from security, wireless, infrastructure, Ethernet, fiber, PoE, gateways for hotspot, and then be able to manage that in the cloud or in standalone mode. We have that full solution depending on what your business model is and what you need for your customer. So that's just a quick intro of who we are. And today we want to talk about the SCR 50AXE. So it is a cloud, secure cloud router. Its essence is to make sure that you can manage it and control it in the cloud for easy deployment, easy use, but also provide security. So in today's home network, you typically find a lot of meshing type products or routers at home, but don't facilitate the security, or at least any kind of security. A lot of them are just SPI firewall type routers. There's no filtering of any sort. There's no scanning functionalities. So a lot of the home networks have a potential for compromise. And this idea is also taken into a lot of small businesses today, right? People buying just these same routers that you would use at home, but utilizing it in the business because it's readily available on the shelf, online, retail, et cetera. They just take one, put it in, think it's good enough. But this is designed for small businesses or maybe a small home office, type scenario, but provide you with that security. It's subscription free. It's easy to manage in a single cloud platform. So in our Nebula cloud platform. And so delivers Wi-Fi 6E in a tri-band type scenario with a very kind of sleek form factor there that could be either kind of set on flat or there's a stand for it to put it on its end as well. So just depends on how you want to deploy this kind of scenario. And you can get secure and connected in minutes because it is Nebula powered. you can add this kind of product to the, to the Nebula platform by just scanning it or adding it into the app. So you can get it to run in minutes because it will then download any kind of configurations that you may have preset for it, or and grab the latest firmware. So there's a simple wizard guide that helps you go through there. There's no additional hardware or software to add to the network in order to get this kind of management. You just use your smartphone and the router to do all of the installation and setup. Jonathan asks, what's recommended max number of users for the SCR? We typically say around 5 users, 10 devices. The product itself will support more because it doesn't limit you in terms of Wi-Fi. But that's kind of the aim for this kind of product. I'll talk about some of the, maybe the specific applications that we think this could be used in, again, still in that small office scenario, and kind of the comparisons between this product and what you might be using today with our USG Flex series, or maybe our USG, Flex 50, for example, or higher. So we'll talk about that. I'll cover that in a little bit. So it's really made to connect, we think, homes, teleworkers, small businesses. So one of the applications is to build these secure tunnels for the work at home environment. So you can extend that experience using the SCR site-to-site VPN connectivity. So it allows for you to make these configurations and connections back to your offices using these devices, not only, again, providing security, but then also secure encrypted tunnels to get back to your office as if you were sitting in the office itself. So it's similar to the, work from home, secure Wi-Fi kind of tunneling that we have on our access points, but utilized in a router form that gives you those extra benefits of the security portion of it. So it makes it easier for you, again, to deploy mass business or mass remote users, be able to, have them just plug these in and be able to connect in, and you can then manage those and configure those. Somebody asked 5 users or devices with the average person on business having mobile laptop. Watch, the number seems low. So the idea is that this is kind of your idea to make a home office environment, not necessarily just take over the entire home's router. Again, it's still focused on business application. So let's say you already have an existing router that's at home, or maybe your telco service provider already gives you a particular one, and you want to segment your business network, kind of separate from your home. So the teleworkers, it's 5 users, but 10 devices. So, that's kind of the idea. You can have, again, more than that, but this is just there's no limit to it. But, from home, it may be one, or usually it's probably one person. If you're doing like a remote from home, you're working at a single office. So this device going into your home office provides you your laptop, your mobile phone, maybe your SIP phones, other devices that are connected that you do business on its own segregated network that then gets tunneled back to your office. It's not designed to kind of just take over your entire home network, application, unless you just have a very small office or a very small home. Maybe there's, you don't have families or whatever it is that you're living at home. Otherwise, we would advise for you, if you need more throughput or more capacity, you would use a higher end model for that, like our USG Flexes, for example, to do that. So this is, again, just the cost-effective way to get security, still give you Wi-Fi access as well. With Wi-Fi 6E, it's a tri-band, giving up to speeds of 15 or 5.4 gigabits per second. So you can connect those devices that can support Wi-Fi 6E into that platform. Maybe your laptop connects there. But I think still ultimately the WAN interface, your WAN connection itself, is going to be your limiting factor. Most homes have, a couple hundred megs of connection, 500 megs. Some are getting, 1 gig. We are seeing some more that are getting 2.5 gig and higher speeds that are available. But again, it's not mass market where everyone has that capability, and not everybody also has Wi-Fi 6E as well. So it's kind of, again, it has that feature set if you're going to use it, and the speeds. I think the next generation that we have, the next product that's going to be coming out in this space, will have the multi-gig WAN connections, and also some other features that we'll have in the newer versions there. Somebody else also said, seems like this would be a good option for managing vacation homes, internet Wi-Fi, if we could solve extra APs for larger vacation homes. Yeah, so the idea too is that you can add additional access points in our business class models so that it can still be managed within the Nebula cloud. So it could be a Wi-Fi as a router itself, but if you need extensions to maybe extend it to a larger home to give coverage, then you can do that as well with this type of product. But again, its focus is not just providing you the Wi-Fi, but also giving you security, but not having to deal with paid subscriptions all the time, right? Or managing a bunch of these. You can get a certain level of security that will provide protection and be enough for a lot of these kinds of scenarios. Another person asked, would site-to-site VPN be for all network traffic or just access to office and LAN, those types of connections? Yeah, I do. I think I do have a kind of a slide there on what we do when it goes onto the VPN side, and you usually get to choose. So you could choose that if you're connected to this specific maybe office SSID that you've created, that goes through to that office tunnel. Or if it's just a connection to the internet, then it could split tunnel in regards to that. So the idea is to protect small businesses from just buying an off-the-shelf router that has no protection or just basic SPI firewall, and you still get kind of the same ease of use, no additional cost for subscriptions, etc., for the basic functionality of that security, and be able to install it very easily without having to worry about it. All the subscription models that are there, even though there is a kind of a professional license that we offer as well, that gives you more kind of like, rather than just basic signatures, it'll be more live threat assessment. So if you need that kind of level of security, but it's much better than just having a pure SPI firewall that doesn't have any kind of security. So it's equipped with that subscription-free threat management on the security cloud router here. And it gives you protection against threats like ransomware and malware that's available there. Let me see what. Larger home would mean more users, and it puts it out of the user case. So again, like I said, it depends on the application. If everybody was there streaming, it's still more focused on a business application versus just a kind of a recreational. More users that are there, yes, more devices, but it depends on what you're doing, what you're using it for. Like I said, there's no limit to it. So if you have, five family members and they have, 3 devices each, you could still connect 15, as long as not all 15 devices are all doing, all things all at the same time, all the time, then there shouldn't be any problems. Like that's kind of that load balancing scenario of that. I'll talk about what the signature base is there. How does this compare to the new WAX series? So the WAX like 6 series, the 6Es, etc., it's different. It's still using a Wi-Fi 6E chipset, but this is not a pure router. Pure access point. It is more of a router with Wi-Fi built into it, where that happens to be 6E. So its primary function is a router, and it has the 6E chip that's in there. So if you do want to use some of those WAX, 6E APs, you can, because they could still be managed under Nebula, can still be plugged into a switch, which then is plugged into the SCR again to expand your network. And again, you'll see from the kind of the session limits and the specs that you could fit more than 5 users and 10 devices. But like I said, it's always kind of a general range. We don't want you to overuse or oversaturate the SCRs, just because it's a router and just because you have those many users. But the idea is it helps for businesses to make it easy for them to create things like guest network access or guest access SSIDs and be able to segregate that. So you can have guest access for your users, then you can have separate private networks for your POS systems, maybe your card machines. So again, this might be good for like a small retail or maybe a coffee shop that gives you better than, again, an SPI firewall, but gives you security, again, with not having to deal with multiple licenses. You may have some of those customers who don't want to pay yearly license subscriptions for kind of a full-featured UTM firewall, right? So this just gives you another option. So you can set all that up very easily through that Nebula Cloud platform and be able to provide this kind of functionality and services to businesses. So we have a lot of customers already who are in the retail. They just need it for their POS systems that are very interested in this because they want to just be able to drop in a simple device for their POS systems that can connect either via VPN back to the main headquarters, or by having a certain level of security to connect them to the kind of the POS cloud portion of it. Since scalable for MSPs, it's a single router you can standardize on, use the Nebula platform to deploy that, to configure it, to manage it. And the SCR can be used in combination with any of the other 100 devices that are supported in that Nebula cloud platform. So you want to add Nebula enabled switches, extra enabled APs to expand that kind of that network environment. That's all doable within, you know, this whole Nebula infrastructure. And because it's in that Nebula cloud platform and it is being managed and protected by threat management, you're able to see and get real-time reporting and monitoring through that Nebula cloud platform. And it's simple to set up again, to see the threats that are maybe attacking the SCR or that network that's on the SCR, and give you valid information, give you valid reporting, real-time information to help you provide the service to your customers. So again, it gives you that visibility better than just getting a off-the-shelf router off the, you know, at retail there. So some of the applications, like I mentioned earlier, maybe connecting a teleworker just from a work from home environment, being able to use this to plug and play, create an auto VPN connectivity back to the head office using a hardware device versus having to install maybe a VPN client onto your laptop, onto your mobile device, onto your phones to make that VPN connection. This can do it for you. So it helps with that resource and that management connectivity. Again, there's no additional hardware or software you have to install because it's all housed within the SCR itself. It has 4 gigabit ports for maybe printers, phones, other kind of wired devices as well that are not connected to the wireless, and protects you against things like ransomware and malware, and gives you that subscription-free option through the system here. Maybe for a smaller office, you might have users, maybe 2 people in the office and maybe just a few devices. This is perfect for that as well. Again, just same kind of scenario with that. You don't need the VPNs necessarily, but you can still VPN to it if necessary from maybe somebody is temporarily going off site. They can still connect back to the small office. And because of the cloud platform in itself, you can deploy for your customers and manage it under that single pane of glass. So you can create organizations just like in Nebula for SCR networks, or it could be part of existing organization and site networks that you use today. But the SCR can then be, you know, deployed, let's say under this retail store entity, and each retail store has its own store. So it's an additional site, and it allows for you to manage multiple sites all at the same time and get kind of that visibility of the entire organization. And so it really is that plug and play as well. So you could, again, scan multiple SCRs that belong to a particular customer and deploy that, and it can inherit, because it's part of that customer organization or sites, then it will download the proper configurations, policies, and configurations and firmwares there. Somebody asked, does the 50AXE have better Nebula real-time reporting than the USG Flex? I would say no. If you're really looking for like full real-time, full UTM kind of scanning, if that's the kind of your threat management, I would still go with the USG Flex, you know, for that kind of solution. But again, from a price points perspective, maybe somebody says, hey, I just want something that's just good enough, like security, gives me visibility, but it doesn't have to be, you know, the full UTM suite. So it does make it, you know, that again, just another option on maybe on a value tier kind of customer, where you typically don't charge them anything or they don't want to pay for security. This could still be something that you provide some active management, active security visibility, and potential to upsell them to kind of the professional packs, or maybe helps you to determine if they need to go to a USG Flex or not. So this is an optional security pack that we're going to offer with this. Again, it comes built with the free security, and it's all the signatures and the threat management is done by Trellix. which is formerly McAfee. So this is kind of an extension of that. So providing the ransomware information for real-time update threat management by Trellix, web filtering also by them as well for category-related access websites, and access to the full Nebula Pro Pack feature set. For example, like VPN orchestrators to manage all the VPN tunnels, et cetera. But then it gives you the full Nebula Pro Pack suite. So just keep in mind too, in order for you to manage, let's say, other switches and APs that you need into the Pro side of Nebula, the SCR, if it's on that same site, has to also be Pro. So everything within that org or that site would have to be a Pro Pack level in order for it to keep everybody's function at Pro. So if you just need to manage SCR kind of outside of the Pro kind of scenario, then it would be on a kind of its own site separate from, you know, any other devices that need to be on Pro. So just keep that in mind. But this is an optional security pack, the license. It's a yearly license subscription that adds on some of these extra features, and I'll talk about in just a moment some of the more nitty-gritty details there. But I think the price point is something around the $30 a year price point. So really, again, kind of a non-factor or non-price issue when you're talking about for a year subscription. It includes that Nebula Pro Pack in there as well. So here is kind of the split, what you get with the free security license and what you get on the extra Pro Pack licensing. So we're going to offer a 1 year and a 3 year license on that. So the free will do ransomware malware protection powered by our security cloud, a dark web blocker, mail phishing, so email blocking, blocking ads, blocking any kind of VPN proxies if you don't want people to use, you know, VPN proxies to get out and, you know, kind of bypass maybe your security policies that you have within that. It has a full firewall there, being able to restrict by country using GeoIP, the allow list, blacklist for those different sites or different blockage, being able to identify applications and clients by the traffic itself. And then additionally, when you buy the extra security pack, and we're going to continue to add additional functionalities as time goes on, as we, you know, enhance the product itself. But currently what it will provide is real-time threat intelligence, again, powered by by Trellix, DNS web filtering. So being able to use the categorizations of blocking of websites by DNS there, and then any of the Nebula Pro Pack features that are available. And again, to keep it within the Pro Pack license for that site if you use other switches and access points in that particular site. So maybe just a recap on some of the product highlights. Again, easy management within the Nebula platform, Wi-Fi 6E. So it's an AXE 5400. So that means 5.4 gigabits per second. It's a tri-band AXE. It's subscription free out of the box, but you can always upgrade to the optional SCR Pro Pack. It has 4 gigabit ports for anything that's wired, maybe your phones, your printers, maybe just hard computers that are, or storage devices that might need to be connected. It can be set up for auto VPN to make connections back to the office as a site-to-site VPN. It can handle up to 4 SSIDs. So a guest network SSID you can use as one, private one, and maybe whatever other ones you want to add to that. So up to 4. And then easy to set up because it's part of that Nebula platform. You can scan it into the app, say it applies to this particular customer, or set it up, configure it for yourself as a self-install. So the comparisons on a feature perspective is kind of broken down here. You'll see the SCRs on that effortless column and the features that it provides or capable of providing. And you can see the USG Flex 50 has some more maybe higher end VPN, two-factor authentication for VPN or to log in, as VPN for connecting to Amazon VPC. So those kinds of applications in that USG Flip 50. But if you need something that's even more, maybe more full-featured UTM, maybe you're trying to do like HIPAA compliancy, et cetera, and that level, then you would want to move to a USG Flex like 100 or above because of that full feature set and its capability to do sandboxing, IP reputation filtering, DNS filtering on those higher ends with the gold pack. So you have options from standalone to just UTM to full advanced enhanced OS UTM capabilities in those. So that kind of gives you an idea of where you may fit or how you may use it. Again, SCR is kind of in that small office, small home office, a teleworker or work from home type environment that needs some level of security. Some of the specific specs on it, the SPI firewall throughput, 890 megabits per second throughput with the intelligence turned on. 880 has 10,000 concurrent sessions. It can make 3 VPN tunnels, has 4 VLAN capabilities. So again, quite capable of handling more than you would say. 10 devices would divide the sessions to be like 1,000 each, which is more than plenty on any particular session type download. The Wi-Fi, so it has, again, tri-band, so it has a 6 gigahertz antenna radio, it has a 5 gigahertz radio, and also a 2.4. And so you can pick between those. So it's 3 different radios with all of those kind of functions. The security features, like we kind of mentioned earlier already, and the on that other breakdown. The site-to-site VPN is built using IPsec, in case you are wondering, but it's not as probably full-featured IPsec as our USG Flex 50s or above. So if you need something that's a little bit more complex with that, then definitely you would have to go to that kind of that model. But just keep in mind, though, the USG Flex 50s, they only have kind of anti-spam and content filtering services available to it. So some of the ransomware kind of protection is not available unless you go to the USG Flex 100 or above. But you can manage all of the SSIDs and provision that. You could do firmware upgrades within the Nebula platform. You can backup, restore. There's tools that you can use to troubleshoot with that, and information from clients connecting to it, IP address informations that you'll see typically in that Nebula cloud platform. You can then use this to do remote support, diagnostics, to help you with all of those, your troubleshooting while you're deploying these. So just from a dimension standpoint, it's probably the same as, I would say it's a similar size. If you guys have actually used our WAX, I think it's like 626Es, the 6E APs, it's like kind of that same or similar form factor and size. So maybe like the size of like a bread loaf, I would say, depending on what kind of bread you buy, but fairly thin as well. So kind of a thin form factor, kind of like the size of maybe a 1U. I have a product somewhere over here, but I didn't bring it over, but I could show it. I'll be showing it at kind of the shows that I'll be at here, but typical environmental specs there. And this is what kind of takes a look like. So it has a stand that comes with it that you can set it upon if you want to put it on its side type deployment, like a book. So that could fit into kind of a bookshelf end scenario, or it can lay flat as well. So it has kind of I would say kind of a rubbery oval there on the bottom that you can set it on without it sliding. So it can sit like that there. So that's kind of the overall perspective from all different sizes. It comes with the power supply with typically different connectors for the different countries there, Ethernet cable, and a stand that you can set it on there. So that's pretty much it. That's kind of the basics and the coverage of what the SCR does. It's becoming available soon. We're kind of finalizing some of the firmwares that it's going to be loaded with it in the cloud. So you'll start seeing that appear. The target street price for these models is about $199. So that's before your partner discounts. That's what I would say the Amazon street price will be. So then that way you could keep that in mind as you're selling or looking for customers for this. Let's see. Somebody asks if you have other Zyxel devices with the organizers with all devices, would it be Pro Pack if you want extra filtering? Then all devices would have to be on Pro Pack. Yes. So that's why you either have to put it on its separate organization, not organization, but separate site there to manage it as a non-pro device. If you want just the free, if you just want the switches and other devices to be on the base pack, which is the free Nebula, and you want to put added filtering on the Pro Pack. One draw that a customer conveyed to me was the Nebula real-time reporting. Is any different, better than if viewing USG Flex? So I would say it's no different in terms of the viewing. It will still give you kind of the reporting, the information, the threats, the time of day, the users, that basic information. And of course, we're going to enhance it as well. So if you feel like the SCR is missing maybe key information or data that you would like to see, we can always add that as well. But my understanding is that it is similar to what the USG Flex has, but the USG Flex reporting includes a lot more, right? Because it does full IDP threat management. It has the full content filtering, which is, this one still has category-based content filtering, so it might be a little bit different. It has anti-spam, web filtering. You could turn on malicious like ransomware threats from the file signatures, antivirus. So I would say the USG Flex security reporting is a little bit more full-featured because it does in itself scan for more things that it's reporting. Wall mount, it doesn't look like it has any wall mount capabilities, so I don't think you could jimmy rig it either. I'll have to double check my product to see if it does have maybe small mounting holes, but I don't recall. I think it's just made for a side on the stand or just a flat on the table. Does it have VLAN capabilities of like 802.1q trunking, for example? I have to check. I don't know if it does. You might have to go to our higher end like firewalls to do that. Again, the idea is to make it simple for that. So maybe some of those applications for trunking you might not be able to use. I will check if the Pro Pack requirements set on the organization or on the site. So it's been split to site and organizations multiple different times. So I need to see what it is. So whatever it may be that the SCR needs to sit on a different organization from your other free sites or free organizations. So I will double check with the product manager on that. USG Flex more advanced reporting only currently available to view via secure reporting. Future request is secure report via the iPhone app. That's an interesting request. So yeah, definitely send us a message through support or through our Nebula support form on some of these ideas on that secure reporting on the phone app. I mean, it kind of makes sense to get that. So it's available via the secure reporting on the USG Flex. Yes. So it comes with, when you have the subscription for the UTM, the secure reporting comes with it. So when you log into your Nebula Cloud, there is a secure reporter portion that you can get into, that if you're sending the reports via your device, if it's set up to send up the reports and you're setting up that log to report, then you'll see those in that secure reporting. And again, if you've subscribed to the UTM services, it's bundled with that yearly subscription. Does it have traffic shaping for voice over IP? I'll have to check on that. I didn't hear about kind of that traffic shaping feature. I know there's some policies that you can put in there, but I don't know if it goes down to a kind of a bandwidth control, but let me double check on that. Do you know if Trellis is the engine behind the ATP200? The answer is yes, in some ways, because we do use McAfee. And so it's an extension of it. I think the ATP uses actually, I would say, a more enterprise level of that service, whereas the Trellis is more focused on the kind of, I would say, not lower end, but just lower performing type of applications that don't require that kind of full level scanning that like a ATP 200 or the USC Flex series supports. So it's kind of a different scale, but it's still kind of the same company. Can you disable Wi-Fi? You should be able to disable the Wi-Fi, yes, on the device. I guess that's a question. Would it be interesting to you guys if there was a router only version of this model? That's been kind of the question. The reason why we don't have the router only at start is because everybody from a home work environment or a teleworker, everybody at home wants mesh type or Wi-Fi connectivity to it. So there's pros and cons, obviously, to that. Is there a web URL that shows the security pack add-ons and other charts you displayed? I will check to see if our product page has it. It should have that because we do advertise that. So when that page is available for the SCR 50, it should have that licensing split. So it's not exactly what I have on my PowerPoint, but it will convey the same information. Jeff does say router version is usually wanted. So okay, that'll be noted. It may just be that from a price perspective or from a volume perspective, we've always had more demand for people who want the wireless versions of products because of the integration, so that they don't have to extend an additional AP to the network. But in some cases, maybe the device in itself where the internet connection is installed is not conducive for Wi-Fi because it's in a server closet somewhere in the back room. Maybe that's, again, an option that we could look at. Unless it's lower the cost a lot, keep the Wi-Fi in there. So yeah, it is a tri-band Wi-Fi. And it has 3 radios. So it does have significant cost differences because of that. So, again, we'll have to take a look at that and see what kind of demands we may have for a non-Wi-Fi version. Or again, you might just, it's like a $200 street price router right now with the Wi-Fi. So if that's something still within the price point that you want with this free security value there, you might just turn off the APs, or just have one of the APs so that you have Wi-Fi management capabilities if you got there and it's a hidden SSID or a locked SSID, that's an option you can use there too. So our partner program, if you're not currently a partner, please join. You get benefits on that, including the discounts for like an SCR at distribution. So if you're buying product and you're not working with Zyxel and with one of these distributors, then you probably aren't getting your Zyxel approved partner discounts. And so those can be significant to helping you make money selling this kind of hardware. Let's see, Jeff then asked or says, we can sell a WAP for replacement where it makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I think that I'm on the same page as what you are. And it's still economy of scale from a product perspective, like how many of these on a wired perspective people will use, or will they still buy the wireless version and still extend it with a WAP into the Pro. You never know. So, it's good to have both. Yeah, I would love to sell additional access points too, and so you could still sell access points with this and it can co-work with that in the Nebula platform to help you configure those. So that's kind of the beauty of adding this, just to let you know too, we plan to have a mesh version of this type of product. So there's going to be where you can standardize on, an SCR, the new SCR, and be able to buy additional SCRs to just extend the network like you do with like a home mesh system. So we've had customers who like to use that in a business scenario or even in a home scenario because it just makes it easier without having to run additional wires. You just drop in another mesh type product or mesh device. And for this particular case, it's just an additional, SCR, then it will do that. But that's coming up in a kind of a future product. That's what we kind of have planned for this product line in the future. And again, with multi-gig WAN uplinks as well, because for the kind of to help with the multi-gig connectivity that we see today. So really not clear if the Nebula interface for threat management is displaying anything different of that for the USC Flex. So if you look back on, let me go back to that page on the features set here, the comparisons. So if you look at the comparison, the SCR only does like firewall, traffic management, web filtering if you do the pro. That's about it. In ransomware management, within that feature set. But in the USG Flex series, maybe the USG Flex 50, maybe not as much because, it doesn't have that many more UTM features than the SCR. But when you look at it from like the USG Flex 100's perspective, in here, you're going to have like intrusion prevention, secure HTTPS inspection. You'll have anti-malware signatures. You could throw in sandboxing features, IP reputation filters, DNS filters. So in the reporting for a USG Flex in Security Reporter, it's going to show you more threats that it's blocking against. Maybe from the format perspective, it probably is going to be the same, but the information is going to be different. What is the WAN throughput? It's 880 megabits per second on the WAN throughput. Let me go back here real quick. Oh, no, it's forward. Yeah, 890 on the SPI firewall throughput. And then if you have the threat management intelligence turned on, then it's 880 megabits per second. No, you found the specs page. But are any of those Flex viable in Nebula OS interface? Yes, so the Flex 200s, there are visible in the Nebula interface, yes. So all USG Flexes can go into the Nebula platform today. So as long as you're on the latest firmwares, we did add it quite a while ago for the USG, the software for the Nebula Flex, for the USG Flexes to be added to the Nebula platform, like probably about a year ago, I think. More recently is the ATP series, I think was like last fall, was added to the Nebula Cloud platform. But definitely jump into our partner program. Again, these are discounted through distribution. So as long as you've loaded your distribution account with us, we load your discounts on the back end. Can you, let's see, site to site with 2 of these units, or do they need to be at least 1 Flex? It's VPN IPsec, so you can go site to site, like to these, you can connect 2 of these devices together. So you can orchestrate them together. So you can go to SCR to SCR, or SCR to USG Flex, or SCR to another VPN concentrator that uses IPsec. So all that should be pretty standard there. So we use DNH, Ingram Micro, TD Synnex now, Wave, Target Distribution, and Pace International if you're using them as well. So we have aggressive promotions that are going, some price drops that you'll be seeing. You might be seeing already for Wi-Fi switches, USGs in general. In addition, the Wi-Fi instant rebates are going to be, priced permanently priced down to what you're seeing at distribution today. So you'll see that as a permanent price drop for the time being. So you'll see, check with your distribution, check with some of the projects that you might have pending, because you might be able to get some of these access points a little bit more aggressive there in pricing to your customers to win these projects. So if you want to connect with us, you can connect with us at Zyxel-US-channel on LinkedIn, or you can connect with me. Just search for Zyxel Try on LinkedIn. And or on YouTube, you can see some of these recordings on Zyxel America channel. And I also want to invite you to, some of you I've gotten to see at some of our Top Golf events, but we are hosting the Top Golf events around the country. Pretty much every month we're somewhere around the country. So come check it out. You can use the QR code here. I'll leave it here for a few seconds if you want to go to that link, or if you got some emails from us, it also links there as well. Or you can go to our website and go to the events page, and it will also take you to all the locations that were there. We basically want to connect with you, talk to you about why unified communications and networking is important, and be able to use Zyxel products with a voice solution that Xultes provides to give you a complete kind of a networking solution. So come out, talk to us, even if you just, want to come out and meet with us because we haven't met in person before, please come out, and we have food and drinks and hit a couple of hours of golf balls at Top Golfs around the country. So please come and meet with us. I think the next one we're going to be in Houston. So if you're kind of in the Houston area, and then I think the one after that's going to be I think it's going to be in New York, New Jersey area in June. But later this May, it's going to be in Houston. So check that out. Register. Again, it's a free event. So as long as you're around there, we'd love to have you drop on by. You did not mention ATP. I thought ATP was higher than USG. So ATP, yes, on a feature perspective, was higher than the USG, but now the USG Flexes have the gold license that in essence puts it on par with the ATPs. So when I say kind of USG Flex with gold, it's similar to the specs that ATP provides. So all the sandboxing, the DNS filtering, the IP reputation filtering that was different on the ATP is now available on the USG Flex. This will be available to view after the fact on YouTube, probably just a couple hours after this. So once it gets downloaded and then re-uploaded back to on the YouTube side, it'll be there. It's also on our Facebook as a live recording. So if you go to our Facebook page, it will also already be there. So you can just watch it there as well on the recording, but you can always check our YouTube in a few hours and it should be posted there. So right now, if there's any questions or any other questions, please feel free to use the Q&A section, or if you have, again, feature requests, functions, or questions you may think about later on, email me, tri@zyxel.com. So glad to be here. I just passed my 19th year here at Zyxel. So we're on our 20th year. So I'm looking forward to this coming year as my 20th. And, just excited about talking about new products and seeing what's on the future. So look forward to talking to you all again at some point soon. Thank you, John, for the congratulations. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's 19 years is a long time. When I tell people I've been here at a company for that long, kind of shows that I love what I do and I love the company that I work for. And so it's obviously a lot of fun, get to meet a lot of people and get to talk technology and sell things that I love and get to be passionate about. So I hope that comes across, and again, look forward to getting these into your hands so you guys can start testing them. And so reach out to our sales reps if you are looking for maybe getting some of these into your hands. Ask them about the promotions that we have. We have our free access point with a switch purchase bundles that we have out there. We have if you're looking at a USG Flex upgrade type scenario, we have the 2-year, buy a 2-year gold or pay for a 2-year gold price of licensing, get the hardware free. So you basically get the device plus 2 years of gold licensing for the gold 2-year license. So kind of convoluted way, but there's special bundles that are out there that you can take advantage of and pass that on to your customer, especially during this time. You want to be able to get, your net new customers who are thinking about upgrading, but they don't want to spend, a full, upgrade cycle for all of that. So this kind of helps with that scenario there too, and get them to upgrade sooner than later. We want them to be as secure as possible as well. So make sure that you're doing your due diligence and making sure that they are using products that keep them, as secure as possible. So that's it for today. Then thank you again for joining us. Hope you have a great rest of your day, your rest of your week. Look forward again to seeing some of you at your Top Golf event or at any of the shows that we're going to be out coming soon. So hopefully talk to you next time. My name is Tri again, and this was Tech Talk.